take the dry leaf and then put in some water. So after an infusion time of like 10 minutes, so what I'm calling the infusion is whatever remains after you lick at the dry leaf, some water, and then when you sieve out whatever remains is what I'm calling the infusion. So it is usually also a quality parameter. And then we have finally the liquor, the resultant tea out of the quantity that you'll have taken for that. So the reason why for all these samples and for any samples that you have to make sure that you avoid subjectivity in your testing. So you make sure that for all the cups that you have, the quantity that you have decided to use for preparing that liquor has to be the same grammage on all the cups that you have, and also on the quantity of water that you're going to use. It has to be the same quantity of water, so that if you're testing maybe these 3 PF1s, you see if I had put more dry leaf in this cup, whatever resultant liquor I would get, if I judge it against this one that I used maybe less leaf, that tea testing is going to have a lot of subjectivity because of the difference in the grammage. So you have to make sure that you avoid subjectivity as much as possible. So for this preparation, we used 5 grams for about, I'm told this cup is around 250-300 mLs. So we infuse that for 10 minutes, and most of the time we normally use a timing, because also we want to make sure that by the time you start over from there, so the time has also to be uniform, so that whatever resultant liquor, especially for the same grade, when you're now doing the evaluation, there is no subjectivity at all. So like I had mentioned, looking at the quality parameters, we have the leaf. So this is what is finally gotten after the green leaf has been processed through those various stages in the factory and then passed through the dryer. So for those of us who have had an opportunity to visit the factory, you'll notice that the green leaf is coming in when it is green, and then passed through a series of processes, the cutting, the tearing and culling, going to the fermentation, but it's basically an oxidation process. So finally, before the dul, the cut green withered leaf is normally referred to as the dul. So before it goes to the dryer, it's usually the desired color is a coppery brown, and should be very bright, meaning that all the green matter, those are the substances that are responsible for the flavor, the intensity, the thickness of the liquor. They are now converted. So when it goes to the dryer, from the coppery brown or bright color, you now find black tea. That's why it's known as black CTC tea. So this is the leaf that we have, and like I had earlier on mentioned, when you infuse, whatever that remains you sieve off. It is usually also an indicator of how the process was taken care of in the factory. And finally, now you look at the liquor. So when you're doing the evaluation, you will use your sight, you will use your smell, and you'll also use your palate. So for the leaf, it is basically what you observe. So for black CTC tea, we want a tea. Maybe we can move over to this side. So we would like us to go, it is normally easier to start off with the leaf. You look at the leaf. So for black CTC tea, we want, remember that process that the leaf is passed through, the cutting, the tearing and the culling. We want the resultant tea particle size. You look at the particle sizes decreasing as you go towards that end. So this one is a different grade. We call it a BP1, a broken peco. This is a PF1. This is another grade this side. So this is a PF1, a peco fanning. This is a PD, a peco dust, and you will also have those other smaller grades as we progress. I see PF? This is a PF1. It should
That's a
have-
TMF.
Oh, a
two
TMF.
mixed
Okay,
ferments, yes.
all right. So once we start off, like I said, it's usually very easy to have an observation. And for the leaf, you just use your sight to look at the particle size, look at how well cut it is. Remember, we want black tea that is clean, free of any fiber. So from these, I know even for anyone who has never seen tea, I just tell them, can you maybe look at what you like? Maybe an example you'd want to try, maybe tell us out of these that we have, which one do you prefer and why, so that we can also pick it up from there as we give finer details on what we look for. So we have 3 samples. We have this one, and this one. All these are BP1s. So we are doing an evaluation of the leaf. So like I said, we want a leaf that is black. We want a leaf that is clean, free of any fiber, and also the particle size has to be well rounded, meaning the cutting, tearing, and culling process is well done. And that is also usually an indicator of a good quality manufacture, right from receiving of the right green leaf, because the better is your green leaf. Like we have heard from the CEO, they are really much into the quality of the green leaf. That is usually important because it will eventually determine how the leaf appearance will be here. Maybe you can give it a try. The first one. Yes. Why do you think it's the best?
I think from also the color and the way it looks like it's more, it's finesse the way it looks like compared to the others.
Yeah.
And as the fibers we're talking about, the middle one is not like the first one.
Oh, okay.
So I believe it's the first one.
Good.
I mean, yeah.
Do you agree?
You can hold it
Yes.
in your hands.
Somebody will have a different opinion.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone?
This one is
this is standard, yeah.
yes, much more cleaner. If you see the particles,
Yes.
other particles, the fiber of the plants are here, and both are BP1.
Yes.
Okay, but I think that is the place from where they are.
Yes.
This is Giseu.
Yeah, this one is this one.
Yes.
Fonda.
Yes, P1 Fonda. Yes. So why this difference? Because the tea leaves are the same, and Rwanda is also the same. The gardens are also the same. Why this is that? This is the difference in the plants.
One major difference that is usually a culprit of this is the quality of the raw material, because you look at where you have a fine plucking, you have 2 leaves and a bud. Remember, for this process we want the finest shoot of the leaf. That's why the plucking standard is usually 2 leaves and a bud, because that, for a leaf that is soft, you don't have a stalk. Most likely you look at the I may be wrong because there are some other things that can lead to this, but the major culprit is usually the quality of the raw material. So I tend to think the quality of the plucking here might be better. So you have 2 leaves and a bud, and also depends on the agronomic practices in the tea farm. So if you have the right plucking cycles, you're nourishing the bush as required, the rainfall, like you'll find this kind of leaf appearance, you'll get it mostly during the dry season. But in the wet season, because the leaf tends to become soft, so when you do that fine plucking, you pass through the processes, the leaf handling is okay. So when you process that tea, you get this kind of a tea that is black and clean. So to answer your, yes,
something onto this, especially on this particular 3 marks. The main difference here will be clonal, and you remember during my presentation I talked about Gisovu being the top and the #1 in Africa. This is Gisovu, and that is why it is #1 and the best in Africa.
In Pakistan, it is like this.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is why Gisovu is the top.
It may be not strong in this one.
Yeah. It's actually grown at an altitude of between 2,200 and 2,400 meters.
Why this
Altitude,
altitude
yes.
make if it is an altitude, it makes the tea much more good than the other one.
Now, the main reason is because it's cold, and because it's cold, the tea bushes are growing very, very slowly. So the shoots are growing more slowly, and they are very, very delicate. And then, depending on the agronomical practices in that particular garden, where you get the shoot when it is at the right height, you won't have any fiber even coming through.
Yes.
Yeah.
The other thing, the smell. Which tea will, have more smell than the other one, the high altitude or lower?
High altitude.
High
You can try and
Yes.
yeah, you can nose it like that. And the reason is that because it's growing slowly and it is in high altitude in a cold place, the flavor components in tea are normally held in some sacs inside the leaf. They call them some vacuoles inside the leaf. And when it is cold, because they are aromatic, they are volatile substances. When it is cold, they do not evaporate or leave the leaf. So when you pluck it and process it, those flavor sacs are intact, and you are able to transfer them to a factory, process them, and get them into your final product. As it gets hot, some of them lose that particular characteristic, and that is why.
And also, just to add on to what you are saying, plucking is one, but also the parameters within the factory when you are producing, when you are processing from the beginning to the end. When you are drying, if you increase the heat too much, or the tea spends too much time in the dryer, it becomes a different color from the one that has spent less time. So there is a specific way that is supposed to be processed. So if anything happens and that is not followed, you'll find the differentiation.
So to get the best qualities of tea, you should try and dry at low temperatures. That way there's no risk of high firing, and you also preserve as much of those aromatic, those volatile substances in the product. And that means that the different processes in the factory have to be followed specifically.
This BP stands for
Broken peco.
broken
peco.
peco.
P-O-K-O-E.
What means?
It's a tea terminology.
It's an English terminology. It's an Indian terminology.
Oh,
Actually from
Yeah.
India, originated from India.
Originated from India, yes.
broken
Peco.
peco one
Yes.
and broken peco.
Yes.
Okay, and then
There is
this is
broken peco and
Funnels.
Yeah,
Peco
peco
funnels.
funnels.
One.